these 1 minute habits may seem small, but these 4 work really quickly and are key to stop feeling overwhelmed with all that you have to manage right now, whether in life or at work. Okay, so the first habit is pause and ask. Let me first show you how this works, then I will share with you why this works. Whenever things start feeling just too much, take a pause and answer this question. What is the one small thing that I feel I can do right now? Or you can ask, what is the one small thing that I can do right now to influence the situation the way I want? And this works on 2 levels. First, on the neuropsychological level, it disengages our reptilian brain, which was activated by all the stress, and it snaps us out of the stress mode by forcing us to think. And second, because we think that the one small action would require less effort than all the things that we are supposed to do, we feel less resistance to taking action. It is based on the principle of least effort. And also, it shifts our focus from how we are feeling to what needs to be done right now. See, action is the best antidote to stress and feeling overwhelmed, because when we anticipate achieving something, it releases dopamine in our brain, one of the main neurochemicals responsible for feeling motivated. And that then makes us to keep doing the thing over and over again, to keep taking action. And so we stop feeling overwhelmed and get the momentum back up. But if there's just too much going on in your head to think clearly and answer this question, then do a set of cyclic sighing first. It will help you de-stress, relax, and feel more grounded. Breathe in normally through your nose. Now take another breath over it to fill your lungs to the full capacity. Now breathe out through your mouth in a long, drawn-out sigh. You will be able to feel the difference in just a few repetitions, because it activates our parasympathetic nervous system, which has an overall soothing effect on our whole body. Now, sometimes just the sheer amount of things that need to be done can make us just roll over in bed with a "why is it morning again?" You know what I'm talking about, right? And the 1 minute habit that can make us stop feeling overwhelmed and start the day feeling more in control is smart batching. Before you start working on that to-do list, just take a minute to sort all the light tasks together and bunch them into groups. You might have heard of batching. It's for better time management. But smart batching is when you alternate these groups to manage your time, energy, and motivation better. So what you are essentially doing is alternating the batches which require different levels of energy. Like if you are doing the first batch that requires you to be outdoor, then follow it up by the ones that require you to be indoors, and then maybe follow it up with the ones where you need to work with other people, followed by the tasks that require you to brainstorm, to plan, or do some focused work. Now, this also works on 2 levels. First, on the neuropsychological level, the different task groups generally use different functionally associated neurons in our brain. When we alternate these tasks, it kind of provides a subtle downtime for the ones that we were using earlier. And so it helps us manage the effects of stress on our body better. And second, because alternating task batches means that we would be working in a different way every time a batch is completed. It breaks the monotony, that feeling of I can't do this any longer. Also, knowing that you have completed a batch, put a tick against it, keeps the motivation level up because of the little doses of dopamine it releases that makes us want to keep doing the thing over and over again. Now, to stop feeling overwhelmed with all that's left to do, like how sometimes you are working on something and the thought of all that's still left to do kind of makes you feel tired already. That's stress mode kicking in, the freeze of the fight, flight, freeze response. So to stop that from happening, just take a few seconds before you begin any task and set the timer on. Like whether you have to tidy up around your home or maybe work on a project. Set the timer first and then begin your work, because whatever time we allow for any task, it stretches to fill that time. So you can easily imagine what happens when we begin without a time frame in mind. Yeah, it's called the Parkinson's law. But we also need to be realistic about how much time any task is going to take for us. Because if we are not keeping enough time aside for something, instead of helping, it's only going to add to our stress and feeling of overwhelm. And this 1 minute habit also works on 2 levels. First, the obvious way it works is it helps us plan all the things we have to do within the time that we have got. So if something is taking quite a long time, we are still sure that there's enough time left to finish all the tasks. So it stops us from panicking, from getting into the stress mode and feeling overwhelmed with all that needs to be done. And the second way it works is when we set the timer on, we focus on finishing that job, right? And that means we have a lesser chance of multitasking. And that's good because multitasking takes up more time, even though we think that is the faster way of doing things. See, the network of neurons in our brain cannot process two information at the same time. So when we think we are multitasking, we are either doing one thing that's become almost automatic for us and another one that requires us to process information, like when you check your mail while finishing your breakfast, or we are continually switching between tasks, not multitasking, but switching from one task to another continuously. And that's going to cost us a lot of energy and time, which is going to leave us feeling tired without seeing any real progress. And seeing real progress is important because that's one of the biggest things that keeps us motivated to keep doing things. See, overwhelm is essentially what? It's too much unmanaged stress. So if thoughts are constantly popping up in our head, like I have to remember to do this thing by tomorrow, then that's going to distract us from whatever we are doing, and whatever we are doing is going to take longer, right? It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished stuff circling in our brain, creating tension and stress. And the 1-minute habit to stop feeling overwhelmed, to declutter our headspace, is to write it down. Whenever you are working on something and some idea or thought or something you remembered pops up into your head, don't try to push it down because it will keep popping back up again. And worse still, don't try to start working on it right away. Write it down and remember to be as specific as you can, because it becomes really difficult sometimes to decipher it later, and also because this habit is more effective this way. And like the other 1-minute habits we have been discussing, this also works on 2 levels. First, from a psychological point of view, every unfinished task creates a kind of open loop in our mind. Until that loop is closed, that task keeps popping back up again and again for review and resolution. And that costs energy and attention, creating an atmosphere of stress, right? So when we write the task down, it closes that loop, freeing up so much energy and mental space. And also because not every idea or thought popping up into our head needs immediate handling, right? Like, I should remember to do that. There's no urgency in that. So when we write it down, we can plan it for later according to its priority, making sure that we don't miss out on anything important. But if all the constant change and the uncertainties in life are making you feel overwhelmed, the techniques in this video work at a deeper level so that we feel more confident and in control. Check it out. I hope you found this video useful. Take care, and I'll meet you in the next video.